Hi everyone, I'm Jenny from Canada East Lake Education. Today I'd like to talk about the topic about poetic and pictorial splendor. I'm not the expert of this topic, but I'd like to share some of my thoughts with you. And I'm a little bit nervous because it's the first time I recorded the lecture about Chinese literature in English. So I will begin with the story of the players of fish, and then I divide the topic into 7 parts and then ended with the story of butterfly. 2 stories are all from Zhuangzi. First, let's begin our topic with this very famous story about players of fish. And Zhuangzi, he's from 4th century before Christ. So one day he strolled along a river. He said to his friend Huizi, "Oh, see how the fish come out and dart around where they please. That's what fish really enjoy." His company Huizi answers, "You are not fish. How do you know what fish enjoy?" So Zhuangzi replies, "You are not I. So how do you know I don't know what fish enjoy?" So how about you think about that? So in the inscription at the end of the painting, so here is a painting, a hand scroll from Zhou Dongqing. He is active late 13th century, so from Song to Yuan dynasty. And in the inscription at the end of the painting, the artist has written 4 lines, written, "Not being fish, how do we know their happiness? But we may express our feelings in our painting. In order to probe the subtleties of the ordinary, we must describe the indescribable." So he said, we may express our feelings in our painting, even though we are not being fish and we don't know their happiness. Yes, but we may express our feelings into painting. Here we come to our first part. That's almost the one secret in Chinese literature, ancient literature. So since ancient time, it has been said the poetry and painting share the same origin, which is embodied in there is painting in poetry, just as there is poetry in painting. This is a very famous quote from Su Dongpo in Song Dynasty, and he said of Wang Wei, the great Tang poet and painter, there is poetry in his painting and painting in his poetry. So in China, poetry and painting have nearly inseparable and have been related to each other in a variety of ways. The Chinese poet and painter might well be one and the same person. So Su Dongpo and Wang Wei being both the two supreme examples of artist writers. There's other quotes to help us to understand the silent poetry and the invisible painting. The silent poetry is painting. The invisible painting is poem. So the writings of a famous poet are paintings without form, and a famous painter's work is a poem without words. So that's the relation of Chinese ancient time. The poem and the painting are inseparable. This is from Wang Wei's poem, and actually it's a word puzzle. Let's do it together to solve this puzzle together. So listen carefully. View from far away, the mountains have colors. Listen closely, water has no sound. Flowers are still blossom even though the spring has gone. And birds are not startled even though people come by. So what's that? Why? So this word puzzle, the poem, the answer is it's a painting. So we will introduce another Wang Wei's poem to understand. There is poetry in his painting and a painting in his poetry. This poem called Autumn Twilight in the Mountains. In the empty mountains after the new rain, the evening is cool, soon it will be autumn. The bright moon shines between the pine tree. The crystal stream flows over the pebbles. Girls coming home from washing in the river rustle through the bamboo grove. Lotus leaves dance behind the fisherman's boat. The perfumes of spring have vanished, but my guests will long remember them. In this poem, the poem uses 6 lines to write about the scene on autumn evening, and the arrangement is the same that in painting scroll. Washerwoman and fisher boats come into sight, and then far away there is a bright moon shining between pines, rocks, and clear streams. So there is a rain and a mountain in the dusk, and there is moon and pine trees, and a moon and crystal stream, and the girls coming home after washing, and the fisherman. All these fall within a big picture, characterized by empty mountains, fresh rain, and evening air. Very beautiful picture. It's a poem, but it's also a painting. There is a painting in this poem. So this is a Chinese painting. Chinese painting uniquely combining the 3 perfections, calligraphy, painting, and poetry to present a harmonious whole. The 3 perfections is a gathering of poets, calligraphies, and paintings to create an artwork in ancient China. So we will see in the painting, there is poem. And this is from Ming Dynasty, Shenzhou, and its poetic feeling of fallen flowers. From its title, we can see that in this picture, there is a poem. This is my first part, and welcome back.